My name's Jake. I'm 34. I work on a third-generation cattle ranch 20 miles west of Scottsbluff, Nebraska. Not the kind you see in movies, no sweeping orchestral scores, no sunsets that look photoshopped. Just dust, diesel, and the kind of silence that starts to echo if you let it. You learn to live with it, or you leave. Most people leave. I stayed, and then she showed up. It was in 2002. June 21st. I remember because it was the longest day of the year, and I'd been up since 4:30 moving a herd to summer pasture. By 8 p.m., my back felt like it'd been used as a punching bag, and all I wanted was a cold beer and 10 minutes where no one asked me to fix, move, or decide anything. So I went to the hitching post. If you've never been to a Nebraska bar in a town of 800 people, picture this: neon Coors sign flickering like it's having a seizure, a pool table with one corner pocket duct taped shut, and a jukebox that only plays Toby Keith, Merle Haggard, and one random Shania Twain song nobody knows how got in there. The regulars nod when you walk in, not friendly, exactly, but acknowledging you exist. That's as close to community as we get out here. I was halfway through my second PBR when the storm hit. Not rain first, just this sudden heavy stillness, like the whole world held its breath. Then the lights went out, pitch black for 3 seconds. When the emergency bulbs kicked on, casting everything in that sickly yellow glow, I looked up and saw her, Marissa. She stood near the door like she wasn't sure she belonged. Worn Levi's, boots caked in red dirt, a black t-shirt with Patti Smith faded across the chest. Hair pulled back, but a few strands had escaped and clung to her neck like they refused to let go. She had this look, like she'd seen too much, but hadn't lost her curiosity, like she was tired, but not defeated. She ordered whiskey neat, sat at the far end of the bar, didn't look at anyone, just stared out the window like the thunderclouds were spelling out her future. I wasn't gonna talk to her, swear to God. But then she turned, caught my eye in the dim light, and smiled, not flirty, not nervous, just real, like she recognized something in me, or maybe I reminded her of a place she used to live. "You from around here?" she asked when I slid onto the stool beside her. "Born, raised, and probably gonna die within 50 miles of this bar," I said. She laughed. Not a giggle, this low, warm sound that made my chest do something weird, like it remembered how to feel. "That's commitment, or lack of imagination," I said. She told me her name was Marissa, that she was staying with a cousin in Bridgeport for a little while, that she painted landscapes mostly, whatever catches the light. I told her I moved cows for a living, and that the only thing I'd ever painted was a fence, and even that was crooked. She laughed again. Said fences need love too. We talked until last call, about nothing and everything. She asked if I'd ever left Nebraska. I said once, Denver for a cousin's wedding, stayed 2 days, hated the traffic, came home. She said she hadn't stayed in one place longer than 6 weeks in 3 years. "I follow the light," she said. "Good morning light, golden hour, storm light, you learn to chase it." I asked why. She swirled her whiskey. "Some people run to something. I just run." I didn't push, didn't ask what she was running from. Something in her eyes said it wasn't mine to know, but I saw it, the flicker behind the calm, like there was a storm inside her too. We walked out together into the rain, not holding hands, just walking slow, like we had all the time in the world. When we got to my truck, she turned to me, rain dripping off her nose, and said, "You ever feel like the world's too big, but also too small?" I didn't have an answer, but I knew exactly what she meant. The next morning, I found her sitting on my porch at dawn, sketchbook open, coffee steaming in a chipped World's Best Ranch hand mug I'd gotten as a joke gift. She'd borrowed one of my flannels. It swallowed her, but she wore it like it belonged. "Hope you don't mind," she said. "Mind you stealing my clothes, my coffee, and my best chair?" "Yep, nah," I said. "Stay as long as you want." And she did. For 3 weeks we lived in this little bubble, like we'd built a world just for two, tucked between the cornfields and the sky. No plans, no expectations, just mornings watching the sun bleed over the fields, afternoons driving nowhere down Highway 71 with the windows down, and Lucinda Williams crooning about heartbreak, nights tangled in my sheets, or sitting on the hood of my truck watching lightning stitch the sky. She painted while I worked. Sometimes I'd come back from checking fences and find her in the yard, easel set up, brush moving like she was pulling the wind itself onto the canvas. Once she painted me without telling me. I caught her from the barn, me leaning on the fence, hat pulled low, squinting into the distance. "You look like Nebraska," she said, when I asked why. "What's that mean?" "Solid, quiet, full of storms you don't see coming." I kissed her then, right there in the dust. She tasted like coffee and chapstick, and something wild I couldn't name, like sagebrush after rain. We didn't talk about the future, not really. Once I joked about her opening a gallery in Scottsbluff. She went quiet, stirred her coffee like it held the answer. "I'm not the staying kind, Jake," she said softly. I laughed it off. "Nobody is, till they find the right reason." She looked at me then, not away, not down, right into my eyes, and for a second, I thought maybe I was that reason, but she just smiled, sad and sweet, and said, "Maybe." Then one morning she was gone, not dramatic, no slammed doors, no note on the pillow, just empty space where she'd been. I woke up, reached for her, and found cold sheets, her backpack, her paints, her boots gone. Even the toothbrush I'd bought her at the Dollar General was missing. Only thing left was a small canvas leaning against my nightstand. It was me, not a photorealistic portrait, more like a feeling. Me standing in the east field at sunrise, back to the viewer, hands in my pockets, looking out at nothing and everything. The sky was all bruised purples and molten gold. The grass looked alive, like it was breathing. In the bottom corner, in her looping script, for Jake, who listens to the wind, I called her phone, straight to voicemail, texted, "You okay?" No reply. Drove to her cousin's place in Bridgeport. A woman I'd never met answered the door, arms crossed, eyes tired. "She's gone, Jake. She moves like the wind." "That's it? That's all you're gonna say?" "She's not coming back," the cousin said, not unkindly, "and she didn't leave because of you. She leaves because she has to." I wanted to hate her, but I didn't. I just felt hollow, like someone had scooped out my insides and left the shell. The worst part wasn't the heartbreak, it was the silence after. The way my coffee tasted flat, how the porch felt too big, how I'd catch myself setting 2 plates at dinner, then stop, embarrassed, like the walls might judge me. I didn't cry, not really, just sat on the steps one night after a summer storm, listening to the wind hiss through the corn, and realized I missed the sound of her breathing next to me, more than I missed her, like my body had learned a new rhythm, and now it was off-beat. I still have the painting. It hangs above my couch now. Sometimes I talk to it when I'm drunk, not like I expect an answer, just saying things out loud helps. "Saw a red-tailed hawk today. Bet you'd have painted it." Or "The sunrise was stupid beautiful this morning. Wish you were here to see it." A few months ago, I saw someone in a gas station in Ogallala who looked just like her. Same walk, hips loose, shoulders back like she owned the road. Same way of tying her hair in that messy knot. My heart actually stopped. I followed her to her car like some sad stalker, but when she turned, it wasn't her. Just a woman with tired eyes, and a duffel bag slung over her shoulder. I went home, poured 2 fingers of cheap whiskey, and didn't sleep. I don't think she left to hurt me. I think she just couldn't stay. Some people aren't wired for roots, and maybe that's okay. Maybe the point wasn't forever. Maybe the point was that for 3 weeks in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, 2 lonely people found each other in the quiet, and that was enough. but God, it doesn't feel like enough sometimes. Last week, I drove past the hitching post, saw a young couple at the bar, laughing over a shared basket of fries. They looked like us, easy, present. It hit me so hard I had to pull over on the shoulder and just breathe for 5 minutes. I'm not broken, not really. I still get up at 5 a.m. I still move cows. I still watch the storms roll in, but I'm quieter now. Like part of me stayed out there in that field with her, watching the light change. Sometimes I wonder if she ever thinks of me, if she's painting somewhere in New Mexico or Montana, and a certain slant of light reminds her of Nebraska, of me, of that morning we drove to Chimney Rock and sat on the hood of my truck eating gas station donuts, saying nothing for an hour. I hope she's okay. I hope she's free. I hope she found whatever she was running toward. And I hope, wherever she lands, she finds someone who listens as hard as she speaks. Anyway, sorry for the novel. I just needed to say her name out loud again, to put it somewhere real. Marissa, if you're out there, I hope the wind's kind to you.